Back immediately following the Steelers and Bills here on Channel 2. Join Ron Carlson, Craig Morton, Rebo.
For the Buffalo Bills veteran stars, time is running out. They are haunted by a past that includes losses in 4 Super Bowl games. Their 36-year-old quarterback, Jim Kelly, is on a quest for a Super Bowl victory before he retires. And Kelly knows the pursuit is a personal race against the clock.
For me, it's ticking, but for a lot of the other players, some of the younger players, I think they're starting to get that winning sensation. There is a sense of urgency right now, but when you're in my position, you've been here before, it's always a sense of urgency.
Jim Kelly led the Bills back into the playoffs last season. They've won both their games this year. As the hourglass empties, Kelly is hopeful that the sands of time will not bury his chance for a Super Bowl ring. Now is the time for 2 of the NFL's best, the Buffalo Bills and the AFC champion Pittsburgh Steelers, to go at it on ABC's Monday Night Football. Ready, Pittsburgh. Well, it's Monday night and we're ready to strike. Our special forces are in full flight. The Steelers defend their conference crown, but a Buffalo stampede invades the town. We gotta get ready. We gotta get right. There's gonna be a battle in Pittsburgh tonight. So get ready. I mean, get ready. Are you ready for the football? On Monday Night Football. We got Frank and Al and Dan. They're gonna get it kick-started. Lynn and the crew's all set. The crowd is tight, 'cause all my rowdy friends are back on Monday night. Downtown Pittsburgh, the Golden Triangle, on a cool, damp Pennsylvania evening. Three Rivers Stadium, the scene of so many Pittsburgh Steelers heroics, will be sold out once again tonight, 59,000 plus. The Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello again, everyone. Frank Gifford with Al Michaels and Dan Deerdorf. Good AFC matchup for you tonight. 2 division champions from a year ago. The Steelers and Bills met here last January in the divisional playoff, and the Steelers, of course, won that game 40-21. And Buffalo went home. The Steelers went on to lose to Dallas in Super Bowl 30. The Steelers are 1-1 in the season thus far. They were stunned by Jacksonville in their opener. They bounced back to beat Baltimore, but this is a team that was hurt by free agency. It's not the team you saw last January in the Super Bowl, and a team that is seriously hurt tonight defensively. Meanwhile, Buffalo comes in with 2 wins. They weren't good-looking wins. They were kind of ugly. Against the Giants, at one point, they were down 17-0. And then last week, of course, they beat New England. Al, the good news that they are undefeated coming into tonight. The bad news, they're coming in here because they have been hurt here many times.
Yeah, and Frank, they've won in weird ways. They fumbled 5 times on opening night against the New York Giants. In 2 games, Jim Kelly has thrown 2 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. He's been sacked 9 times in the 2 games, and Thurman Thomas has averaged a measly 2.5 yards per carry. But this is an extremely resilient football team. Going back to the start of last season, in their last 9 games that have been determined by 7 or fewer points, they have won every one of them. As Frank said, this is a mature team. The clock is ticking. Jim Kelly is 36. Bruce Smith is 33. Thurman Thomas is 30. The coach, Marv Levy, is 71. And their only owner in history, Ralph Wilson, is 77. This is a fully ripened football team that comes into Pittsburgh, which has been, Dan, a house of horrors for them against a team that loves to play when the lights come on.
They sure do, Al. You know, this is a pretty right booth as well.
In many ways.
And you're right about the Pittsburgh Steelers loving to be here at home. Since Bill Cowher took over this franchise in 1992, they played 5 Monday Nighters here at Three Rivers. Their record 5-0, and they just weren't eking out wins. They have won by a cumulative score of 116-27. They have made us work in the second half. Well, tonight they are a different team defensively. 3 of their starters who were penciled in are gone. 2 of them, Ray Seals and Greg Lloyd, for the season. Can Buffalo exploit the advantage there? We'll find out tonight. Offensively for Pittsburgh tonight, Mike Tomczak gets his 2nd start. Cordell Stewart, though, will handle all of the short yardage and goal line situations at quarterback. The big guy for Pittsburgh tonight could be their new running back, Jerome Bettis, who came over from the Los Angeles Rams. The coach of the Steelers is Bill Cowher. This 39-year-old is down on the field right now with Lynn Swan.
And Dan, he loves this game. As a matter of fact, Bill, the last 10 regular season games between you and the Buffalo Bills, the home team has won. Is it preparation or is it just this team?
Well, I think the crowd plays a big factor, but these are two good teams, Lynn, and I think the team that makes the least mistakes will win.
You know, you should get an award for creativity, the injuries and the problems you've had in your defense. But last year and this year, you've been able to put it together. But can you still be as aggressive?
Well, I think so, and it comes from internal leadership, and we got some good internal leadership on this team with the veterans, and, hey, we have no choice. We have to.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks,
good luck
Lynn.
to you.
Okay.
Al?
All right, thank you, Lynn. Beautiful shot from the Goodyear blimp looking down into Three Rivers Stadium, where the Steelers won last week, beating the Baltimore Ravens after their horrible opener on the road at Jacksonville when they lost Lloyd and lost the game. So the Steelers coming in 1-1, and the Bills 2-0 after their overtime win against the Giants when they overcame a 17-point deficit. And then last week's win against New England. Charles Johnson is back to receive the kick for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steve Christie to put it in the air. Jaheen Arnold, a rookie, also back for Pittsburgh. And we're underway at Three Rivers Stadium as the kick is taken by Johnson at the 6-yard line, up past the 20, and then gang tackled at the 25-yard line. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers with Mike Tomczak, who performed very well last week. Mike has been around with Chicago, Cleveland, Green Bay, and now here in his 12th season. Eric Pegram starts at running back. We'll see Jerome Bettis before long. Lester is the fullback. Johnson and Hastings outside, and Bruner, the second-year tight end. Jackson, Wolford, a former Bill, the great Dermontti Dawson, Stye, and Strelzik, the interior five. And that is Cordell Stewart who gets the start. He's in motion, and they get him into the game immediately, but Henry Jones smells it out and stops him after a 2-yard gain. So Cordell Stewart, who will line up at quarterback, running back, and wide receiver for the Steelers. Defensively, the Bills play a 3-4, as do the Steelers. Hanson, Washington, and the great Bruce Smith, already 5 sacks this year. Pop had 17.5 sacks last year. Spielman, the ex-Lion, Maddox and Rogers. And then the secondary, Irvin and Smith outside. Jones and Schultz are the safeties. On 2nd down and 7, Pegram to the 29-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 6, and that's Chris Spielman making the tackle.
We talked earlier about the injuries defensively, Dan, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, but they've been hurt offensively. Yancey Thigpen, their leading receiver from a year ago, he's been out for several weeks and will probably be out for even longer than that. Ernie Mills, he has not recovered from surgery after the Super Bowl. They were the 2 leading receivers for the Steelers a year ago. Consequently, we're seeing Cordell Stewart in there tonight, Charlie Johnson, and they will be the primary receivers.
On 3rd and 6, and that is Stewart in the slot to the left. 4-man Buffalo rush, and Tomczak under pressure finds Pegram along the sideline for a 1st down.
Oh, boy, that'll earn fan approval for Tomczak. Stood in there. He knew he was going to get hammered. He did, and he just strong-armed that ball beautifully.
Yeah, he saw the hit coming. You're right, Frank. There's no way to miss it. It's Jim Jeffcoat coming right up the middle, number 77. He's right in Tomczak's face, but Mike just takes a little stutter step to the right, and inexplicably, the entire Buffalo defense was a good 5 yards downfield, allowing Pegram all alone out in the flat.
Opening drive of the game, Steelers at the 41-yard line. That's Corey Holiday in motion. And Pegram behind Lester finds a hole, gets into Buffalo territory. 1st down at the Bill 48, tackled by Schultz.
Well, this is the reason that Buffalo wanted to get Chris Spielman, was to shore up their run defense. People in the Pittsburgh have been able to run the ball against Buffalo, and a good illustration here. This is one of the best run-blocking offensive lines in the National Football League. A good matchup for the Steelers is their left tackle, John Jackson, number 65. And look how he pins Bruce Smith to the inside. Fabulous blocking by Pittsburgh.
And many say that the best place to go at Bruce Smith is right at him.
It's a fumble, and it is Bruce Smith in the middle of the action. The Buffalo Bills have come up with it. Sam Rogers.
Yeah, I think he got it, Al. Rolled right to him.
Well, Smith, though, jarring the ball loose. He'll gamble. He'll come down inside as he did right there. Violent collision, jars are loose.
Yeah, it looked like a fumbled exchange. I'm not sure that the exchange from Tomczak was ever a clean one.
Let's see if he did have control. There's the handoff.
No,
he never did handle it.
You're right. The ball is out before Bruce Smith ever even gets there. Tim Lester wasn't able to handle it all. Looked like Tomczak put it right in the midsection.
You might have saw Smith slanting down that line. So a promising start, but a fumble ends that initial thrust. And now the Buffalo Bills with Thurman Thomas. His first carry of the night, and it's him 4. Jim Kelly, chosen number 1 in the draft in '83, but played in the USFL and joined Buffalo in '86. Thomas, the running back, and then the 3 wideouts. The rookie molds with Early and Reed. Johnson, the tight end. Fina, Lucina, Hall, Ostrowski, and Parker up front. The no-huddle offense employed by the Bills for years on 2nd and 6. It's Thomas losing yardage. Parnell Lake, who blitzes a lot, coming through to stop him. Defensively now for the Steelers. They, like the Bills, play a 3-4 with Buckner, Steed, and Henry up front. And then the linebackers, the movement necessitated by the Lloyd injury, Ravati, Kirkland, Olszewski, and Brown going from inside to outside. Woodson and Williams, Lake, and Perry in the secondary. 3rd down and 8. And Kelly throws, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andre Reed, so it's 3 and out. Darren Perry with the coverage, and Rod Woodson on the blitz.
Well, there is a series that pretty much, I think, identifies the way the Buffalo Bills have been playing football offensively so far in the '96 season. Talk about getting great field position and totally squandering it. That's exactly what the Bills did right here.
And they saw the blitz early because the blitz has been so effective in their previous 2 games against the Giants and New England. Kelly having been sacked 9 times. Chris Moore floats one. Good-looking kick because it bounces at the 8-yard line and rolls out of bounds at the 3. Near perfection. Chris Moore. So the Steelers pin deep with 11:11 to go in the opening quarter. 0-0 in Pittsburgh.
This is the new one, right?
I had a feeling.
Brought to you by Miller Beer, made with the heart of the hops for big flavor that goes down easy. Prudential, Circuit City, the choice for price, selection, and service. And the new Dodge, we're thinking ahead.
Well, it's not very attractive field position for the Steelers, but how fortunate they must feel to turn the ball over in their own end of the field and not surrender any points.
They begin from the 3. The Bills showing a 5-man front and trying to give them some breathing room is Pegram for a gain of a couple. Bruce Smith in on the tackle.
A very effective running game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. After 2 games, Pegram is averaging 5.8 yards per carry. Bettis is averaging almost 5 at 4.9. So when you see numbers like those, you know the 5 guys up front and throw in the tight end and the lead back are doing a whale of a job. They are knocking people off the ball.
Pegram with 3 carries for 14 yards already out of a double tight end here. A roll by Tomczak, and he floats one incomplete off the fingertips of Bruner, covered by the linebacker Rogers, and it will be 3rd down and 8 from the 5.
Good throw by Tomczak. Rogers had good position on Bruner, and it was a pass that Bruner should have caught.
Well, Henry Jones came on the blitz and almost looked like Tomczak scared him rolling out that way. Henry stopped. I think he could have gotten a lot closer to Mike Tomczak if he wouldn't have stepped on the blitz. A good call by Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator of Buffalo.
There he is, the former Bronco head coach.
He was head coach of the Saints for 4 games back in '85, I think.
3rd down and 8 as Tomczak throws, and the catch is made by Andre Hastings, who is out of bounds very close to a first down. The line judge says not close enough.
Charles Johnson trying to help out with the spot.
Oh, and Tomczak is over there saying no, and Hastings over there also complaining.
Line judge Larry Upson right there to spot it and make it 4th down and inches.
He'll be the judge.
Oh, there it is on the line. Looks to be an absolutely perfect spot by the official.
Now Josh Miller, who won the job in training camp out of the University of Arizona, to punt.
Russell Copeland to run it back. Low snap, and the left-footed Miller. A good way to lose it. Not a very good kick, as it's out of bounds at the 41. So the Bills take over on the plus side of the 50 with 10:10 to go in a scoreless first quarter. Time zones. Notre Dame, Texas begins things. Then those games, regional action beginning at 3:30 Eastern.
Number 8 Michigan, you saw that.
I saw that. And Oregon and Washington State on the West Coast only Saturday at 4 Pacific. Buffalo at the 41-yard line begins this drive. And Thurman Thomas seeks room outside, doesn't find any. Jerry Osafsky, the 8th-year linebacker who played his college ball right here in Pittsburgh, makes the tackle.
Buffalo going against this. It's not a hurry-up offense. They call the play at the line of scrimmage. Kelly has the option to call the plays on his own, but Buffalo going with the nickel defense. 5 DBs in there.
On second down and 8, with Thomas staying in the block, and a flag is thrown as Kelly gets blindsided and sacked. Chad Brown may be called for a face mask here. Referee tonight is Larry Nemmers.
Except that flag went down before the tackle. Illegal use of hands.
Illegal hands to the face on the defense, number 76. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first.
Oh, that's a killer. That really hurts. Kevin Henry, the defensive end, flagged for that. Buffalo has just got nothing going at all here offensively, and now they get a first down, their first one of the game, through a penalty.
First and 10 from the 34-yard line, and Thomas has blocking, but the Steelers do a great job penetrating. LaVon Kirkland knifes his way through and stops him after a minimal gain, and Dick LeBeau has really had to juggle the chess pieces because of all of the injuries.
Well, when you lose really their best defensive lineman in Ray Seals, who had rotator cuff surgery, their best linebacker in Greg Lloyd, a lot to lose early.
Second and 9. Pressure on Kelly, and the pass incomplete, and good coverage in the secondary. The pass intended for the veteran Andre Reed, now in his 12th season.
They knew they were losing Kevin Green to free agency. Jason Gilden was going to take his place. There's a good look at Greg Lloyd, the All-Pro, on the sideline trying to cheer on his team in this crowd. He is a real man and a real player.
Third and 9. 9 minutes to go in a scoreless first quarter, and Thomas on the draw. Good call. First down to the 21-yard line. Tackled there by Woodson. So the Pittsburgh defense aggressive, and they called a draw, and Marv Levy sees it work for a 13-yard pickup.
Good call, anticipating a blitz. Buffalo has seen so much blitzing from the Giants, so they're very successful with it. New England, here it comes. So they go with the draw. Easy block and a big opening for Thurman Thomas.
Wonderful block by Kent Hall, number 67, the All-Pro center.
Thomas's longest carry of this young season, and the Steelers take a timeout. Rod Woodson calls it. So timeout. First down, Buffalo, and we come back. 8:31 to go in the quarter. 0-0.
Visa takes you inside the numbers. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Last year, the Buffalo Bills ranked first in the NFL with 49 sacks. How are they doing this season? Stay tuned for the answer.
The legendary Chalice in Malta
Bills are on a torrid pace that could see them tie the NFL single-season record of 72 sacks.
Prudential has helped protect and support families for over 120 years. With the largest capital base of any life insurance company in America, we've always been there for families, paying over 85 million claims. Today, Prudential touches 1 out of every 5 people in America. People think we have quite a history, but all we've ever really done...
Now blow. It's game 2 of a special doubleheader Saturday on ABC's College Football.
Well, Rod Woodson very alertly counted heads before that snap, realized that they only had 10 players, called a timeout. There's Deion Figures, number 21. Gets out onto the field a little bit late. A smart move by Woodson to realize they were a man short.
First down, Buffalo with the 21, no score. 8.5 minutes to go in the quarter. Thomas. And Thurman gets inside the 15 and is run out of bounds, tackled by Levon Kirkland at about the 13-yard line. Thurman Thomas, now at the age of 30, 9th season with the Buffalo Bills, playing a little less these days. They're trying to work Derek Holmes into the lineup and give Thomas more of a breather, but none so far. And he is tackled as he takes the handoff there by Chad Brown, just shy of a first down.
You know, Al, I talked right away about the averages that Pegram and Bettis have for the Steelers. On the other hand, you have Thurman Thomas, who coming into this game is only rushing for a 2.5-yard average.
And as you can see, early in his career, 4.6,
right,
which is terrific, but since 1993, 3.69 below average.
And coming into today for the first 2 games of this year, 2.5 yards per carry.
Of course, he was running behind House Ballard and Will Wolford and a different offensive line.
And he's out, and Holmes is in on 3rd and 2, and Kelly, buying time, goes to the corner of the end zone and incomplete, broken up in the end zone by Willie Williams, intended for the rookie Eric Moulds, their first-round pick out of Mississippi State. And Kevin Henry put the pressure on as the throw was made.
Yeah, that's good coverage all around on the part of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They got a little bit of pressure on Kelly, but just good coverage. He had nowhere to put it. He tried to squeeze one into the end zone, but it was fine coverage by Williams. You wondered about Kelly's arm. Don't wonder anymore. Off balance, he just fired this sucker.
This is a 31-yard attempt by Steve Christie. And so Josh Miller's 29-yard punt gives Buffalo good field position, and they cash in for 3 on the 31-yarder by Christie. 7.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter as Buffalo takes the early lead. Blimp Spirit of Akron, and that is just a fabulous sight. The Golden Triangle, downtown Pittsburgh on a sparkling late summer night as Christie's kick is fielded at the 1 by Jaheen Arnold, a rookie from Fresno State. And he gets tackled up at the 25-yard line. And let's get a word from Chris Berman on a breaking story. Chris?
All right, Al, thank you very much. History in baseball tonight. Paul Molitor, the Twins, the 21st player to amass his 3,000th hit in the 5th inning at Kansas City. This one goes to right center field. He's already singled in the 1st, and as his Molitor style. He doesn't stop at 1st or 2nd. He goes to 3rd. The first player ever to amass his 3,000th hit with a triple or a home run. Al, he's 40 years old. He leads the majors in hits. Amazing, and congratulations.
All right, thank you, Chris. And so Molitor and his ex-teammate, his longtime teammate with the Brewers, Robin Yount, each with 3,000 as the pass is nearly picked off by Kurt Scholes on first down. And Kurt Scholes would have had an easy 6.
Oh, and he was thinking 6, too. He felt he should have had it. The leading interceptor from a year ago gets a good read from back there. But one thing Tom Zach will do, he will lock on to a receiver with his eyes, and Scholes is reading it all the way, and he's moving right there.
I'm not sure he'll have an easier opportunity all year than that.
Poorly thrown.
Colossal break for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a walk into the end zone.
Jerome Bettis in the game, so Pegram out after 2 series, and the big back is in, and the big back has the ball, and the ex-Ram, who ran for over 100 last week, off to a good start tonight up to the 37-yard line. Tackled by Scholes and Spielman.
Oh, Buffalo is... They are lucky it wasn't for a lot more. They came with the blitz, and when you blitz and you can pop that line of scrimmage with the run, you can get big yardage out of it. And Bettis almost broke this for a lot more. Wade Phillips sending a lot of blitzes here in the early going.
6:45 left in the quarter. 3-0 Buffalo. First down for Pittsburgh at the 36-yard line. And it's Bettis again. And what a difference he can make. You know, the Steelers have had such bad luck with their running backs. Remember, Tim Worley was going to be the guy, and then Barry Foster was going to be the guy, and then Bam Morris was going to be the guy, mainly because of off-field problems. They're all gone, and now it's Bettis.
And what they have in Bettis, as you see, 116 yards last week, is a guy who came over from the Rams, who has never experienced running behind a line that is capable as the Steeler offensive line. There's Eric Pegram but Jerome Bettis uses the term, I feel like I'm running downhill. He's a running back with a wonderful attitude and a wonderful line in front of him. A lethal combination.
Cordell Stewart was the man in motion, and the pass is a little high, and good coverage there. Charles Johnson, the intended receiver, and Thomas Smith is there to break it up. It'll be 3rd and 7.
When you think how cheaply they got Bettis from the Rams, they got to give up a 2nd this year and a 4th in 97. And this is a guy that 3 years ago, made 1,400 yards. He hasn't been hurt. Had a little ankle problem a year ago, and he's more than anything, he is a good kind of a football player to have on your team. He and Pegram really complement each other. They really are not fighting over the job. They just are really a good complement to each other.
Now Cordell Stewart comes into the game as he is coming to the bottom of the screen and takes the swing pass from Tomczak. And with some nifty running, Cordell Stewart is inside the 30-yard line, inside the 20, and gets all the way down to the 12-yard line.
Oh, he is exciting. Well, as an offensive coordinator, it's what you dream of when you call that play, a blitz to that same side. There's Chan Gailey with the baseball hat on, but he got a blitz to the side of Cordell Stewart, Frank. That sets it all up.
So give Tomczak a little credit, too. He knew the blitz was coming. He had to wait till Cordell gave him the look-see, got behind the blockers in front of him, and then he just shows you what a superb athlete he is. He is a slash. He can run the ball, he can pass the ball, and he's a good receiver.
Pittsburgh's longest play of the season, Dawson and Wolford set up that run with great blocking from the 13-yard line. A little swing pass to Bettis with some blocking, and Bettis loses the football, but out of bounds. And if you're going to fumble, that's where you need to fumble it, inside the 5-yard line.
Well, Bettis will take a look at that this coming week. Know that had he broken that back inside at the 5, he probably would have been in the end zone easily.
Well, Gailey and Wade Phillips are playing a little chess game here, and right now Gailey is hitting Phillips right across the bridge of the nose because, again, he calls the play to the side where the rush comes. And Wade Phillips is sending guys after the quarterback, but unfortunately, Gailey's countering by coming right at that blitz.
Both these defenses tonight, Dan, are high-risk defenses that can give up big plays.
Now you've got Stewart in the game at quarterback. Tomczak comes out. This is what Cowher likes to do when they get down inside the 5-yard line. It's Stewart.
Well, he can run, he can throw, he can do anything.
The defense with a million things to think about. It's 2nd down at 1.5 yards, and it's a quarterback draw for a 1st down to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal. Little counter move, and then he goes through the line. He can do a lot of things.
Well, that's what sets it up. That's what sets it up is the counter step by Stewart.
Here's the Coca-Cola red zone fact. The Bills tonight, their opponents have been inside the red zone, inside the 26 times in the first 2 games, but they've not allowed a touchdown from inside the 20. They're in jeopardy of having that.
I'll say, good thing you got that in when you did.
Absolutely. 1st and goal from the 1. Stewart to Bettis. Touchdown.
Well, that's a fine-looking series of plays. That'll give a defensive coordinator, Dan, a lot to think about.
Well, there was an uncontested touchdown. That Buffalo up front almost looked like that was going to be a foregone conclusion that Jerome Bettis was going to find his way into the end zone. He wasn't touched by a Buffalo Bill until there's a collision about 2 yards in the end zone. Excellent blocking up front. Dermontti Dawson, Sty, Strelzik at right tackle.
You don't want defensive backs meeting Bettis in the hole.
No. Henry Jones is left to try to tackle Bettis after it's already over.
And North Johnson hits the upright, so a flag goes down.
And that did not carry him through.
It's no good pending the call, and he'll get another chance. And Marv Levy with a look of a coach who has seen very little go right in the last couple of minutes. His team giving up a 75-yard drive.
And Marv can be colorful in situations like this.
He may have a master's from Harvard, but
moving on the right side, you see it right there.
He's got a PhD from the Navy.
Yes, he does.
He can do it like a sailor.
Defense, nose tackle is in the neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal. Retry to kick.
And don't send me any letters, you Navy guys. I'm just making a reference. Marv can let it loose.
And Johnson atones after the penalty. And the Steelers take the lead with 3:55 to go in the quarter. It's now Pittsburgh 7, Buffalo 3. Three Rivers Stadium since 1970, the home of the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Pirates, and a brand new carpet this year. Players like it a lot better. The old one was worn out, but it can get slick if it rains, and there is some rain in the forecast tonight.
There was a little rain earlier on, too, and now they were concerned about it. They were slipping out there when they were working out.
Norm Johnson to put it in the air with Pittsburgh leading 7-3, and the kick comes down to the 8-yard line, and this is Eric Moulds, their #1 draft choice out of Mississippi State, and a nice run back up to the 38-yard line. He's tackled there by Myron Bell. Well, we've come upon an early season beauty for next week. How about going to Indianapolis, where the Dolphins and the Colts match up on Monday Night Football next week. The Dolphins 3-0. And the Colts, after that tremendous win against Dallas, 3-0. The Dome will be rocking next Monday.
This early in the season, I'm looking, from before the season began, you would have never thought that.
Well, get that horseradish ready at St. Elmo's. Not too much of it, though. No. From the 37-yard line, Kelly sets up the screen. It's Thomas. And he's tackled up at the 43. Good tackle by Jerry Olszewski around the ankles with 3.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Maybe the hardest play offensively to get the timing down is a middle screen. And that was well executed. But every middle screen, right before it happens, looks chaotic. And it looks like it's a recipe for disaster. Well done by the Bills.
2nd and 4. That was Kelly's first completion on his 4th attempt of the night. And Thurman Thomas, with a flag coming in at the end of the play, gets up to the 44-yard line. And it's a hold against Buffalo.
Marv not at all happy.
Holding. Offense number 84. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
The Steelers looking over. The question is, do you want a 3rd and 3 or a 2nd and about 15? And that's the option they have, and they will march off the 10. It's a curious little call in a game like this at this point.
Well, that would have been a 5-yarder. I think it would have been different. 10, you almost have to take it.
2nd down and 14 from the 33-yard line. And the catch is made by the tight end, Lonnie Johnson, up at the 36-yard line. He's tackled there by Rod Woodson.
This Steeler defense is really picking up the momentum, getting it from the offense following that last drive. They came back out on the field, and they were smoking.
They just have
love
such,
to play here.
Oh, that was going to be my point, Frank. They have such tremendous confidence playing here at home. They just draw the energy out of this crowd. You can hear them in the background.
3rd down and 11 from the 36-yard line. Here comes the blitz. Kelly hangs in the pocket. The protection is good, and the throw, though, is out of bounds. Eric Moulds, the intended receiver.
Could he have caught that and stayed in? That's hard to tell from that angle right there.
It was close. Kelly wanted to deliver that ball a lot earlier than that. Moulds just didn't make his break to the outside. Kelly knew that he was in trouble with the blitz. I think he could have caught it.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It may be a case where Moulds was preoccupied with where the sidelines were and lost concentration on the football.
Yeah, well, they think he's a great one, though.
Sensing the chalk. As Moore floats one and angles it, and it's inside the 20-yard line, and they'll spot it. Actually just about at the 20, and that's where they'll put it. With 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the defending AFC champions, 2nd year in a row. A big injury on opening day. Last year it was Woodson, and they were able to overcome that. This year Lloyd. And Bill, you have to love Bill Cowher. Bill Cowher not letting the team go south early on. And as Bill likes to point out, the Super Bowl, it's 4.5 months away. 4.5 months.
He made a gutsy move, too. After Jim Miller, the opening day starter, quarterback, couldn't get anything happen. He came back with Tom Zeck, said, "You're my starter." Changed last week, got a win out of it, and made this Steeler offensive team still be happy about it.
Here's Bettis.
It's one thing, though, to have injuries, and you know the guys are going to be back in a little bit. They lost 2 key guys, aren't going to be back for the entire year.
Let's get a word from Lynn Swann. Lynn?
Well, Al, during the pregame warm-up, the Buffalo coaches were looking at this new artificial surface, and they thought it was unusually slippery. And in the course of the ballgame, Thurman Thomas at one point came up the line, wanted to make a cut, but he looked like he was just sliding flat-footed on it. The receiver fell down for the Buffalo Bills, trying to make a cut to the outside, and the rain is not falling at the moment. It's going to be a problem if more rain comes.
Good illustration right there.
They were concerned about it early before the game.
2nd and 6. Tom Zach throws, and it's complete, and a little slippage right there as Andre Hastings couldn't get his footing. Otherwise, he might have had the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1, tackled by Pop.
Timely report, Lynn.
Buffalo, though, a turf team. They have artificial surface at their home field of Bridge Stadium in Buffalo. So
No weather up there, though, huh, Dan?
no, it never rains or anything up there. Frank, why do you lead me into trouble like that?
Because you handle it so well.
Yeah. And we're not going to Buffalo this year, right? Cordell Stewart comes in at quarterback now on 3rd down and a short one. He puts on his quarterback helmet with the speakers to get the play call, and he gives it to Bettis, and that's a good man to give it to on a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation they have with Cordell Stewart. He's a great young man, but I don't care if you're the quarterback. Quarterbacks have egos. I asked Mike Tomczak last night, I said, how does it feel to drive all the way down, get inside the 5-yard line, and you come out? And he kind of smiled. He said, it's all right. But you just kind of wonder. You come out on critical situations, 3rd in critical situations, and that's kind of tough for a lot of quarterbacks.
I think Mike's been in the league for 12 years, and he has developed a maturity and appreciation for just still being here.
Could you imagine Jim Kelly doing that? No chance.
1st and 10 at the 33, waning seconds of the quarter. Steelers leading 7-3. Tomczak throws off his back foot and incomplete, intended for the rookie from Fresno State, Shaheen Arnold, with 17 seconds remaining. And, you know, guys, the AFC with no real clear-cut favorite this year. You know, these 2 teams in Indianapolis and Miami and Kansas City and now Denver. I mean, at this point, shake them up. Let the dice fall where they may.
You know, Cowher had an interesting thought when we talked with him last night. He said, you just got to stay in there for the first few weeks. Then you got to get a long run. Then you have to stay healthy, and you're going to wind up there.
They've just already lost key people for the entire year. They almost don't have any more mistakes left. You wonder how many more key people could the Steelers afford to lose.
2nd down and 10, and they set up the screen. Not a pretty screen, but a very effective one as Bettis goes out of bounds, but not until he picks up the first down with 9 seconds left in the period. A 12-yard gain.
You mentioned all those teams in the AFC, Al. If I had to pick one right now who's playing the best football, I think it's probably the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep. Road win yesterday at Seattle. Will have Kansas City against Pittsburgh, in fact, in 3 weeks.
Bettis, and again, I'll say what a cheap 2nd round and 4th round draft pick he was for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's the end of the first quarter. Pittsburgh on a smiling Cowher on top 7-3, and Monday Night Football returns after this message and a word from our ABC station.
Because TV after the game.
Week 3 of the NFL season. We're in Pittsburgh. Al Michaels with Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swann. We start the 2nd quarter. 1st and 10 for the Steelers from their own 45. Pittsburgh up 7-3. Eric Pegram in the backfield. And it's Pegram with the ball and runs right into the left side of the Buffalo front. Ted Washington leading the way along with Sam Rogers. And let's take a look at the numbers through the first 15 minutes of competition.
The Steelers are going to be very happy that Buffalo didn't have a chance to get into that end zone a couple of times. They had good possession inside Steeler territory and only came away with 3 points. That had to hurt.
Yep. Only 9 yards passing for Buffalo and 97 for Pittsburgh. About half of those on that one pass to Cordell Stewart. 2nd down and 9 from the 46. Pegram, good spin move and across midfield, tackled at the Buffalo 48. It'll be 3rd and 3. Ted Washington on the stop.
No, but it doesn't bode well for Buffalo if Jim Kelly is losing in a passing duel to Mike Tomczak. That's not what Buffalo needs to have happen to win this ball game.
Steelers checking with 4 wides now.
And Cordell Stewart, one of those.
They slot him to the right.
We're actually in there with 5 wides.
Yep. No tight ends, 5 wide receivers.
Good time to blitz.
And then they put Holiday in the backfield and keep him in the block. And on 3rd and 3, the pass is incomplete. Intended for Hastings, covered by Jones. And the punting unit comes in.
What did Marv Levy tell us yesterday? We have a Cordell Stewart period. We added this 15-minute period to practice every day this week where we just try to work on every conceivable situation where Stewart might be, whether it be quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Let's face it, that doesn't happen to every player in the league where your opponent devotes an entire period to your skills.
I think on maybe a Deion Sanders period, wouldn't you think?
Josh Miller. Yeah, Josh Miller with a high floating and very short kick. A fair catch is called for and made by Russell Copeland at the 30. And the boos cascade down upon Miller, who's had 2 bad punts. That one, 19 yards. Josh.
Do you want the real truth about the leading candidate?
Blimp Spirit of Akron. Its home base not far from Pittsburgh, just across the Ohio border. The Goodyear Blimp floating high above Three Rivers Stadium at 13:26 to the half. Buffalo has the ball. They trail by 4. And Andre Reed makes his first catch of the night up at the 37, tackled by Willie Williams. Andre Reed in his 12th season out of Kutztown State, a Pennsylvania school. A reminder, tomorrow night, Roseanne, Life's Work, Home Improvement, Spin City with Michael J. Fox, a great show on High Incident, a brand new show, which you'll see tomorrow night. Its regular night will be Thursday, starring Blair Underwood, right here on ABC. As Thurman Thomas on 2nd and short gets wrapped up for a loss by Levon Kirkland as Greg Lloyd looks on approvingly.
Kirkland goes about 270. He is a big linebacker, but he's really matured this year and is a really fine run stuffer. Watch this. He just comes down the line of scrimmage and turns right into Thomas. Thomas turns upfield and boom, there it is.
3rd down and 4. Kelly throws and it is picked off at the 42. That's Jerry Olszewski, and a lateral to Ron Woodson. Ran an interception back for a touchdown last week, and he takes it to the 24-yard line.
Risky move by Olszewski.
Boy, but Jim Kelly with flawless protection and a clear line of sight right up the middle of the field. You wonder why he chose to throw it. Jim Kelly didn't appear to be blocked. He had good protection. He wasn't rushed. Look at the line of sight right up the middle of the field. And he throws it right to Olszewski, trying to get it to Eric Moulds, the rookie.
I tell you, the Steelers are really mixing up their defense well. They made that look like a blitz, but they dropped out of it.
Olszewski having a big half. His 8th year is his first regular season interception. 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Pegram, big hole through the middle, takes it down to the 15, where it'll be 2nd and 1.
This is where Pegram and Bettis really complement themselves.
Well,
outside the 20, Pegram is so swift, so quick.
Buffalo right now ought to sense what's happening to them. We talked at the top of the show about Pittsburgh and their dominance here at Three Rivers, and especially their dominance over the Bills. A 7-3 ball game right here, 2nd quarter. Buffalo backed up to their own end zone. It's time to step up.
2nd and 1. Pegram escapes a would-be tackle by Spielman, and then Smith is there to back up Chris, and it will be 3rd down and 1.
Pretty good step up.
Spielman just reads that thing perfectly. Scrapes right into the hole. Just doesn't make the tackle. Right where he has to be, upfield. Of course, he delays the play enough where his teammates come in and make the tackle. But Spielman and every guy on that Buffalo defensive huddle, they need to step to the line and be counted right now. Pittsburgh stuffs this one into the end zone. They're in trouble.
3rd and 1. Stewart's the quarterback. Bettis in the backfield, and Stewart on that counter move again, and it's going to be very close at the 14-yard line. Hit hard by Spielman.
Well, you know why he's in there, though. What a great athletic move he made. He spun back into the inside when he most certainly would have not got the 1st down. He came with that spin very close to getting it.
Good job by the Buffalo defense with the whole flow going one way and then the counter and the move to the right side by Stewart.
Watch this move now. He'll spin back to the inside here. Right there is where he got it. Just a little extra effort, and not a whole lot of quarterbacks have that athleticism.
Wade Phillips with the look of a man who's going to have a long night. And it's a first down.
A good effort there by everybody involved. By the Buffalo defense, who tagged Stewart 3 times, and of course by Cordell Stewart with a great individual effort.
Stewart stays on as wide receiver this time.
I wonder if he can play cornerback.
Well, they go with Pegram at the running back position this time. Bettis comes out.
And a split back set on first down from the 14-yard line. They put Hastings in motion. A little short drop, and then they give it to Stewart, and that's beautifully read by Bryce Popp and Bruce Smith. Whew. And that's part of the reason Bryce Popp won several awards as the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year last year. It's an 11-yard loss.
So quick out there. 17.5 sacks. Also good against the run. Bruce Smith not getting a lot of calls, but then again, Bruce Smith always draws a crowd wherever he is.
It's just all the upfield rush by the Bills. They were making, they were operating 5-6 yards in the Steeler backfield. Stewart had no chance whatsoever.
2nd and 21. Stewart in motion. Tomczak floats one into the arms of Bettis, and then Popp runs him out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. They'll be 10 yards shy of the first down. We mentioned Popp winning several of those Defensive Player of the Year awards. The reason I say several, there is no such thing as like an official award. Like in baseball, there's an official MVP award, but in the NFL, you have several organizations who give the same award, and he did win several of them.
Look at Bettis turning on the speed down the sidelines.
And he has a lot of speed for a guy that weighs 250 pounds.
So quick.
3rd down, 10 at the 14, 9:21 to go in the half.
4 wide.
And on a draw, an inside give it is Eric Pegram. So a little bit of a moral win here for the Buffalo Bills as they hold them to a field goal attempt. It's Jim Jeffcoat, the long-time Dallas Cowboy, ending his career now with the Buffalo Bills making the tackle.
Buffalo needed that badly. So did we.
Now Norm Johnson out of a Josh Miller hole. Johnson, the long-time Seattle Seahawk, who had a great year last year here with Pittsburgh, replacing Gary Anderson, who moved to Philadelphia. This is a 30-yard field goal attempt by Johnson. And he makes it to extend the lead to 7. 8:35 left in the half. Pittsburgh 10, Buffalo 3.
Introducing.
Well, there is Blair Underwood. We mentioned the show High Incident, which you can see tomorrow night. It debuts at 10 o'clock here on ABC. It's regular time slot Thursdays at 8. Blair Underwood used to be with L.A. Law and now the star of High Incident, and the guy right at home in Pittsburgh because he went to school at Carnegie Mellon.
Also with Reed and Guppy this morning in New York.
Yes,
he gets around.
Man moves around, and he's looking on here in Pittsburgh with the Steelers up on top 10-3, and Norm Johnson sending the kickoff into the arms of Eric Moles at the 6-yard line, and the Mississippi State rookie brings it back up to the 35. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Slate Dress Pants. You know those pants that never fumble? These are those pants. Lincoln Mercury in the complete line of 1996 Lincoln and Mercury automobiles. And Miller Lite. You've got the great taste of an ice cold Miller Lite. Life is good. The Golden Triangle. The Allegheny and the Monongahela converging to form the Ohio. Three River Stadium. Buffalo at the 35-yard line, down by 7. Reed in motion. Thurman Thomas behind Tim Tyndale. And runs out of bounds after a gain of 8 up at the 43.
Buffalo needs their Golden Triangle to come through right now. Reed, Thomas, and Kelly. The Bills, as you can see, 9 consecutive wins in games where they've been decided by 7 or fewer. It's one shy of the NFL record. So I think that's a sign of a veteran coach and a veteran-laden team. They know how to handle the pressure-packed, close situation.
7 of them last year and 2 thus far this season. Second and a deuce. And it's Thurman Thomas picking up the first down and shouldering his way up to the 48-yard line where he's tackled by Willie Williams. They're one shy of that streak, as Dan mentioned, and the teams that...
Who were those two?
Well, Dan,
do we have any idea?
I believe you should. Ta-da! Soon to come into view. There it is. Cleveland 71 through 73, and the St. Louis Cardinals in 75 and 6.
Steve Hurd wanted a drum roll, I think.
Dan wanted a drum roll. This is Tim Tyndale for a gain of 3.
You must admit the St. Louis Cardinals aren't exactly littering the NFL record book with a lot of stats in there.
Interesting.
We'll take whatever we can get.
Interesting way the Buffalo Bills call their plays. Jim Kelly has the option to call anything he wants on his own. When he wants to get help from the sidelines, he looks to this man, Jim Schaffner, and he makes the call.
2nd and 7. And this time it is Derek Holmes to about the 46-yard line. Holmes in his second year, kid out of Portland State, who figures to spell Thomas more and more as the season goes on to try to keep Thurman healthy. And Holmes a pretty good back in his own right.
And Kelly did look to the bench. Jim Schaffner, you saw, gave him the call.
But I'll tell you one thing about what's happening right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are playing 8 guys up on that line. They're not respecting the Buffalo passing game. Carnell Lake is making tackles at the line and in the backfield.
3rd and 4. They blitz. It's picked up, and Kelly slings it into a lot of traffic and is able to jam it in for a first down to the 34-yard line into the arms of Quinn Early, his first catch of the night. Early, the free agent pickup from the New Orleans Saints, and picked up the reception for the winning touchdown last week against New England.
The proper verb, Al. He did jam it in. Kelly waited and waited. Tight spiral. It had to be perfect. It was.
Kelly from the 34 on first down. Kelly going deep over the middle, and it is picked off by LaVon Kirkland. A tremendous interception for a linebacker intended for Lonnie Johnson.
Willie Mays would have been proud of that catch. Talk about over the shoulder.
I told you how big he is. He was about 270 pounds. He one-hands it. He's really come into his own this year. Kelly thought he had 6.
Running completely away from it.
Bingo.
AT&T presents A World Without Limits. What modern defense pitched the most NFL shutouts? Stay tuned.
In the movie Juice, Tupac played a gangbanger. In real life, friends say the rap star vowed he was ready to turn his thug life persona into something more positive. Unfortunately, time ran out before he got the chance.
I'm not a messenger at all. I'm a rapper, I'm an entertainer, I'm a storyteller. I'm here to tell a story. Some people will get the message.
Packer, deep coverage from the secondary on the tight end, Lonnie Johnson. It was a terrific play by the big man, LaVon Kirkland.
That's his 2nd interception of the season, 4th of his career. The Steelers start from the 3, and Bettis gives them a lot of breathing room as he takes it up to the 11-yard line. Mike Tomczak has been around a long time. He played with the Bears in the '85 Super Bowl. In fact, got into that game. Bears killed New England. And Jim McMahon got a breather at the end. And then Mike with Chicago, a sometime starter there. To Cleveland, to Green. There's the starter at the beginning of this season in Jacksonville, Jim Miller, who was Stewart on the depth chart as number 3. Mike Tomczak in his 12th season on 2nd and 2, and it's Bettis who gets hit behind the line of scrimmage and stopped for no gain. Henry Jones is there. Mike in his career, I'll tell you, he is a primetime player. 21-10 in Chicago, then under 500 at Cleveland, 500 or under 500 at Green Bay, 500 at Cleveland, 5-3 here. Tomczak, 8 for 13 tonight. This is the 54th start of his career. 9 of them have been on Monday Night Football. 3rd down and 3 from the 11-yard line.
And Tomczak throws, and a great catch is made as he guns it into the arms of Charles Johnson for a first down at the 20. Marlon Kerner with the coverage.
Charles Johnson with a fine catch for the first down. They really expect him to step up. We mentioned earlier, Yancey Thigpen is gone for they don't know how long. Ernie Mills, the same problem. He has a knee injury, so they expect big things.
Watch Bruce Smith and how quickly he is all over Mike Tomczak. He just blows. He gets by Dawson in a hurry.
That's your Pro Bowl center there.
Sure is. That's one of the best offensive linemen in the game, Dermontti Dawson. Bruce Smith gives him a complete whiff job and buries Tomczak.
From the 21-yard line, Tomczak throws, goes the other way, and checks off to Charles Johnson, and he picks up about 5. Thomas Smith there on the tackle with under 4 minutes to go in the half.
Good protection
for on top 10-3.
Excuse me, now good protection for Tomczak. He had a chance to make a couple of reads and then come back to Charles Johnson. They're moving Bruce Smith around.
Well, it's asking a lot of a center to snap the ball. When you snap the ball, you have a soft shoulder because your arm is up in your midsection. Ask him to go one-on-one against Smith is asking a lot.
Johnson comes out of the game, injured his arm as Bettis rams his way up to the 41-yard line.
You can just almost cash this check that if he stays healthy and not a lot happens to this offensive line in front of him, that Jerome Bettis is going to have a monster year for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And that means they'll have a monster year.
This man is such an imposing physical player. Look at the legs churning at 250 pounds. He just drives for so many extra yards after the initial hit.
First and 10 from the 41. Here he goes again. Boom, up to the 46-yard line.
The black shirt was not going backwards there. It is the white shirts in the pile that are moving backwards.
Mentioned those couple of 1,000-yard seasons he had with the Rams when he had a pretty good offensive line in front of him. An ankle problem a year ago. Well, he is a big plus.
What a wonderful change of pace for Cowher, though. You have Bettis, then you go back to Pegram, then you bring this guy back in again.
And they get along.
Yep, and then you have Cordell Stewart. Second down and 5 from the 46-yard line as we approach the 2-minute warning. Tomczak throws. Hastings makes the catch. Good move to pick up the first down and extra yardage, and he's out of bounds at the 43-yard line, breaking a Henry Jones tackle along the way.
Henry Jones whipped along the way. Jones thought he was going to bury him. Hastings with a quick move to the inside just completely juked him.
Henry Jones assumed that he was going to step out of bounds.
2-minute warning.
Introducing the Mercury Mountain.
He's loose, and Jerome Bettis scores for the Steelers. That is a back-breaking drive by the Steelers that started at their own 4-yard line.
And Jerome was indeed running downhill.
Yes, sir.
And over people in the process. What a great effort. He's happy to be here. Watch this. This is classic. Covering up the football in the traffic, bowling over would-be tacklers. They'll hear about that. Scholes and Henry Jones.
And not a stellar series for Henry Jones, was it? 2 missed tackles where he fails to wrap up. Strelzik at right tackle, Sy at right guard, Dawson at center.
Norm Johnson just does boot it through. That's Bettis' longest run since his rookie year. And he already has 90 yards on the ground tonight.
But when he does, your 2 safeties have to make the tackle. And in that instance right there, Kurt Scholes and Henry Jones, the 2 safeties for the Bills, just bounced off of Jerome Bettis like he's made of kryptonite.
Norm Johnson in the rain to kick off now. 17-3, the Steelers on top. And it's a short kick fielded up at the 15 by the rookie Eric Moles. And good coverage as he gets tackled by Lester at the 25-yard line. Tim Lester, and another look at Bettis' longest run since his rookie year out of Notre Dame.
There's Scholes on the left. He's going to come in. Henry Jones will come in from the right there. Both of them. Neither one wraps up. They just put a shoulder into Jerome Bettis. Guys, newsflash, no shoulder by itself is going to drop Jerome Bettis. It is not going to happen. This guy brings a big load to the field, and a shoulder tackle by a safety will not drop him.
First down from the 25-yard line. Kelly facing a 4-man rush throws. Reed makes the catch, and it's a gain of about 6 as the Buffalo Bills have again dug themselves a hole as they did opening night when they trailed the Giants 17-0 and won. But tonight a punt ends the first 3 and out, then a field goal, and since then a punt and 2 picks. Pretty ugly. 2nd and 4. Thurman Thomas, the inside handoff, picks up the first down up to the 37-yard line with a minute and a half to play in the half.
And Al, I think if you think back to that second drive of Buffalo's where they got a field goal, they were aided because there was a Pittsburgh sack of Kelly, and they got a first down because of the illegal use of hands that kept that drive alive, or that would have been a dead drive.
From the 36-yard line, Kelly almost had it picked off by Carnell Lake, and Lonnie Johnson had to do all he could to make sure Lake didn't intercept it.
Kelly again trying to squeeze it in. He's been able to do it on a couple occasions, but he's had a tough 2 games coming into tonight, and this is just equally as bad. They were down 17-0 to the Giants in the first half, and the guy that got him back in that game is Andre Reed.
2nd and 10. Kelly to the sideline, and that's batted away. Willie Williams getting a hand there as a flag down at the line of scrimmage. They're close to it.
Williams again with just fine coverage.
Well, Frank, did you see Willie Williams almost looks like he's making a break on the ball before Quinn Early is. These guys are the defensive backs for Pittsburgh are looking like the receivers of Buffalo.
Number 70 offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
John Fina says, me?
John Fina? Who, me?
Oh, there it is. It's actually left guard, Corbin Lucina. And no wonder John Fina is going. Yeah, John, we will vindicate you even if the officials won't.
Kelly trying to change the play, and the crowd realizes that.
2nd and 20 out of the gun. Bills have all of their timeouts, and Thurman Thomas on the 2nd and 20 goes next to nowhere.
Now the Steelers will call timeout. Excuse me, Al. Steelers will call timeout.
3rd down and 18. Pittsburgh has 2 timeouts.
No, they're not going to.
They thought about it. They will here unless Buffalo picks up a first down or the clock stops on its own when an incompletion or out of bounds. Third and 18, and Kelly throws, and the catch is made at the 44, but a little short of the first down as Quinn Early makes the catch. The stick is right there, and let's see where they spot it. Willie Williams with the coverage.
Boy, no pass rush at all by Pittsburgh that time. Allowed Kelly to just sit there, and then even worse, Frank, allowed to step into the throw and really put something on it.
Well, you have 25 seconds remaining, and it's 4th down, and they're going to go for it here, and it is Thurman Thomas, and I think he got it. Well, I can't tell from here.
It's hard to tell. You're right.
If he doesn't, then the Steelers could run a play and try to get into field goal position.
He got it. If the marker on the far side of the field is accurate, he got it.
You're going to have anyone getting a first down is Thurman Thomas. He scoots and squeezes and finds little cracks that other backs just can't find.
He just gets it.
Never in doubt. 18 seconds, though.
18 seconds now. Bruce Smith.
Well, Bruce
is on top of it because when the ball is signaled ready for play, they would have started the clock. So 18 ticks
remaining in the half. Buffalo with the ball, and let's check in with Chris Berman. Chris?
All right, Al, thank you. While the Bills try to sort things out there, coming up on our Toyota halftime report, we look forward to your chat with Captain Comeback of the Colts, quarterback Jim Harbaugh, and, of course, we'll take our whip around the league, including Raiders hosting the Jaguars. Jacksonville down 10-3, 3.5 minutes to go, mounting what they hope is a tying drive. Mark Brunell popped by Rob Fredrickson into the hands of number 93. The large one, Jerry Ball, 325 pounds, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. He could go all the way. The longest touchdown run ever by a man over 300 pounds. Al, he was Jerry Wrecking Ball.
And the longest touchdown by a man over 330 pounds as well. What is Jerry these days?
Yeah, 330 might be on the low side.
Buffalo 1st and 10 at its own 46-yard line.
Kelly changing off when he sees the blitz forming by the Steelers.
And here they come, and he guns it over the middle, and that is incomplete, intended for Russell Copeland.
Willie was there. Kelly just didn't get it to him.
Willie Williams is having some half on his coverages. He is all over these guys, and boy, you hate to see the blitz picked up that well by Buffalo and to come away with an incompletion. Ball kind of sailed a little bit on Kelly.
2nd and 14. Kelly trying to get them into field goal range. Great job by the secondary. And he dumps it off, and it's intercepted by Carnell Lake, and he will score.
Oh, what a nightmare. Kelly looking downfield, looking. Nobody was there. Finally pulls it down, tries to dump it off, and Carnell Lake is right there.
I got some advice for Buffalo. If they see a Monday night game scheduled in Pittsburgh next year, they ought to think about forfeiting the game.
That's Kelly. He wants to take it deep, wants to put points on the board. Great competitor. Now he's looking for Thurman Thomas. Tries to get it, never did see Carnell Lake.
That's one of those plays. It looked like there were 4 white shirts and about 40 black shirts on that play. Pressure on Kelly, the secondary, a fabulous job, then the dump off. And it was a disastrous dump off, and that is the end of the half.
You got a 10-3 ball game, and then they give up 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes of the half.
And the crowd is roaring with the score now 24-3. Chris, along with halftime highlights. Jim Harbaugh joins us live from Indianapolis at halftime. And back we come after this from the NFL and a word from our ABC stations.
All my life, I've seen friends and family lost to cancer. Now I'm fighting prostate cancer, and no one can know for sure what my future holds. The NFL and United Way are doing something to win the fight against cancer through research, education, and services. I'm back on the field, and we're chasing a Super Bowl win. But
The Toyota Halftime Report. Brought to you by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. From our New York studio, Chris Berman.
Hello once again, everybody. Week 3 of the National Football League. Already 6-3-0 teams. 7 if Buffalo wins, although that doesn't look good right now. Of course, San Francisco and Carolina, remember, had byes yesterday. Certainly getting there, 3-0 is half the fun. But as we begin our Sunday sojourn, the Minister of Defense reminded his teammates that getting there is also a lot of hard work. The Chargers and the Packers at Lambeau Field.
What counts is what we do today. That's right. That's what counts. That's right. That means kicking tail, guys. Dominate. 1, 2, 3. Dominate.
Reggie White had 2 sacks yesterday and another day at the office for Brett Favre. 3 touchdown passes, including this 19-yard slash to Antonio Freeman. Now, this Freeman doesn't live on a ranch in Montana. He and his teammates live in the stands. The Packers are able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. William Henderson, Leroy Butler, and friends, and Desmond Howard. After the game, Ward Nelly.
Special teams score, defense score, offense score. You can't ask for much more than that.
Perfect. The Vikings and the Bears at Soldier Field. The Packers in alone atop the NFC North Division. Warren Moon back after missing over a game and a half. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. 29-yard touchdown to Jake Reed. And the Vikes over the Bears, 20-14. They host the Pack next week. They have given Mike Holmgren's teams fits. The Colts at the Cowboys. The famous hole in the roof. Jim Harbaugh and the Colts in a heck of a hole, down 21-3. But in the third quarter, Harbaugh, a pair of touchdown passes. Looking, finding. Marquez Pollard, the second-year free agent from Bradley University. Look at him go. Bobbing, weaving, and taking on the Cowboys right there. 2 touchdown passes by Harbaugh, 4 field goals by Kerry Blanchard. The Colts lead 25-24, which sets up the final play of the game. 57-yard field goal attempt from Chris Boniel. It's long enough. It's high enough. It's deep enough. It's going. It's off the crossbar. Chips 1 or 2. The Colts are 3-0. What a day for the Indianapolis Colts in Dallas. And when we return, Al will chat with the man that engineered that comeback, captain comeback, Jim Harbaugh, along with private comeback, Jim Jr.
Because someday you'll...
At the half, if the Bills don't win, they'll be looking up in the AFC East at 3-0 Miami and 3-0 Indianapolis. Al, as we go back out to you at Three Rivers, John Elway, Dan Marino, Joe Montana, those are the guys known for fourth quarter comebacks. But in the last 2 seasons, nobody has made a bigger mark in the fourth quarter than Jim Harbaugh of the Colts.
And yesterday may have been the most amazing comeback of all, Chris, because Jim did it a couple of times last year against the Jets and against Miami. But yesterday he did it in Dallas, down by 18 points, and Jim joins us live from Indianapolis. Jim, realistically, 7 starters not in the lineup yesterday because of injuries, including the great running back Marshall Faulk. What did you think of your chances going into the game?
Well, first of all, it wasn't just me that engineered that comeback. It was 53 guys. And we believed that we could win going down there. It's not that we didn't think we couldn't get beat, but we knew that we wouldn't quit.
Your career has been a pretty fascinating one with the Chicago Bears for 7 years, and it was sporadic. You were in and out of the starting lineup. Then with Indianapolis last year, you begin as a backup, but it's a breakout year for you when you finally get your chance. You lead the league in pass rating. What has made the difference at this point in your career for you?
The real difference is, you know, when I was in Chicago, I had belief in myself. But here in Indianapolis, I have belief in myself. I have belief in this team. It's a team that believes in itself, and they believe in me.
Your team almost gets to the Super Bowl last year, and then amazingly doesn't offer Ted Marchibroda a contract good enough to get him back. So you undergo a coaching change. Lindy Infante, who is the offensive coordinator, takes over. Has it been a seamless transition for you?
It has. Playing for Ted, I mean, you're going to miss him because he's a great football coach. But Lindy Infante was my offensive coordinator last year. I've had 2 years of his experience, and the team has rallied behind Lindy right now, and we're off to a good start.
Jimmy, you have a $4 million contract. You're with a 3-0 team. Your father, coaching at Western Kentucky, has a 3-0 team. You just had a bouncing baby boy, Jim Jr., who will come into our picture in a second. 12 days ago. Have you thought about buying lottery tickets?
Well, I do have to count my blessings right now, but I'll tell you, if there's ever a day that I'm fortunate enough to play on a Super Bowl team and win, I just hope that it's half as good as the way I felt the day my son was born.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see Jim Jr. at some other point. He's probably asleep right now. Jim, thank you very much. And Chris Berman, great early season matchup next week. 2 unbeatens, Miami at Indy.
Isn't it nice of the schedule makers, Al, to give us that game, huh? Colts at home against Miami. You do have connections. Well, a big night in sports, too. Congratulations to Paul Molitor, the 21st baseball player ever to amass his 3,000th hit. The Steelers have about as many hits as that against the Bills in the first half. They lead it 24-3. We'll be back.
Okay. So you're out in the middle of nowhere.
Grace Morley, a former guest on his show. Today, the couple has 2 children, and Grace works with Montel. He is out.
Quarterback. We'll show you what it takes to kick in the NFL. Experience virtual reality football. Also, call and tell us what you think. Who would win if the Super Bowl were played tomorrow? Plus, it's your last chance to win your own big screen TV. Find out how. And can Rebo the sports dog really pick the weekend winners? You may be surprised. Tonight after the game, stay tuned for Monday Night Quarterback. It's live, it's local, and we're talking football.
Adults in ADD, tomorrow after Rosie at 5:05.
Jim Kelly, a terrible first half, 3 interceptions, and he threw 3 interceptions last week in a win against New England. First time since '89 he's had back-to-back games with 3 or more picks. 24-3. The Steelers on top with Norm Johnson to kick off. And he bounces that one out of bounds. So Norm not having a scintillating night. But apart from that, the Steelers have made not many mistakes. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Microsoft Software. Where do you want to go today? Ford Escort. It's new and it's nifty, made for the smart, the intelligent, thrifty. And Brewery Fresh Budweiser reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan in Pittsburgh. As we start the third quarter, Steelers coming into the game 1-1, the Bills 2-0. But Buffalo trying to dig out of a big hole is Thurman Thomas on a sweep to the left. Picks up about 9 yards, and Osowski with the tackle, and a marker is down. Remembers as the official.
They're almost certainly going to get the fullback Tyndale for holding. That would be my educated guess.
You get a Masters.
Well, I'm not there yet. That's just holding against Buffalo.
All right, you get a Bachelor of Arts.
33 offense.
A home run. There you go. There's your PhD.
Repeat first down.
And how's that for being down 24-3? And that's the way you get things started.
Marv has the look of a guy down 24-3.
And now they get to go 1st and 20.
Oh, Marv. Jim Kelly playing in his own personal house of horrors here. And the catch is made by Quinn Early at the 39-yard line. 9-yard gain. Perry makes the tackle. It'll be 2nd and 11.
Good read between Kelly and Quinn Early. They both picked up the blitz. Early was right there, and Kelly had enough blockers to pick it up.
Derek Holmes is in the game now, spelling Thomas. And Kelly throws, and that is caught up at the 48-yard line by Tony Klein, the second-team tight end. Makes his first reception of the night. And a light rain that began to fall at the end of the first half is now a little bit heavier.
Almost stopped for a while there during halftime, and you're right, now it starts to come down almost harder than it has been raining all night.
Again, we saw a good example. This is a new surface, and it still is a little slick. It was slick before the game from the rain this afternoon.
3rd down and 7. And Kelly throws to Johnson, the tight end, and with that extra effort picks up the first down. He had to get to the 50, and the ball comes out after the play was whistled dead at the 47-yard line.
Again, a good pickup of the blitz on the part of the Bills.
Well, Jim Kelly coming back to the area in which he grew up, and he had that Jerry Olszewski pick off, ending one drive. Olszewski then lateraling to Rod Woodson. And the woes continue, that Levon Kirkland interception. And then, of course, at the end of the half, the backbreaker as Carnell Lake picks it off with seconds remaining and ends the first half with a touchdown run back. 24-3 at the half. Derek Holmes has picked up a couple at 2nd down and 8 at the 45-yard line. As Kelly pump fakes and then goes deep down the sideline and incomplete. And Kelly goes down in the arms of Chad Brown. Andre Reed and Rod Woodson back there. Andre Reed, his Buffalo career might have been over in the offseason, thinking about leaving. And then they had a conference call, and Jim Kelly got on the phone with him and a couple of the other veterans, and back he comes.
And he was the big turnaround man against the Giants in the season opener when they were down 17-0. He caught a 60-yard touchdown pass from Kelly.
3rd down and 7.
And Eric Moles makes the catch, the #1 draft choice out of Mississippi State. Run out of bounds at the 33 by Woodson.
It's a kind of a unanimous opinion around the Bills organization. This youngster is going to turn into a starter and a big-time player. He only goes about a 4.4, 4.5, but he has that quick speed. And they really like it.
And this is about the best-looking drive that Buffalo has put together so far in this ballgame.
And at a very critical time for them as Moles goes next to nowhere on a play that was very slow in developing.
It's an interesting call. You're moving the ball and with your standard stuff, and you try to come back with something like that.
If that play would have been any slower, it would have been going backwards.
It looked like it was being replayed.
2nd down and 10. Here come the Steelers. The pass may have been tipped, and it wobbles into the hands of Russell Copeland, complete at the 28-yard line. Willie Williams with the coverage.
Bill's doing a good job, though, of picking up the blitz. Steelers almost every other play coming with some kind of a blitz, either a safety blitz, corner blitz.
That was a superior job by Copeland of controlling a football that was high and away.
Important play here because this is a very important drive. You're down by 21. They've got to get out of the blocks in the second half. 3rd down and 5 at the 28-yard line. They run a stunt up front, and they give the ball to Derek Holmes on an interesting call to the 24-yard line. He's short of the 1st down by 1.
Well, that was a change on the part of Kelly. He had called something, and he changed it. He saw what he liked. That obviously was what he wanted to come with the draw, and very close to the 1st.
Well, the Bills down by 21. It's 4th and 1, and it's the type of situation they have to go for it. They're compelled to go for it here.
Andre Reed brought something in from the sidelines and came over and talked to Kelly about it.
Or did he just get in late, Dan? They have to get the ball.
4th down and a yard, and Kelly's going to take a timeout. So it's a critical play here for them.
Reed's coming in late, either with something from the bench or just being tardy. Either way, it caused some confusion in the Buffalo huddle.
And now from Paris, from Milan, from St. Louis.
Introducing a new look from Budweiser. Born on dating. It's the day your Bud was born, because fresh beer tastes better.
Nice label.
Thanks.
We're going to keep
This is Ford Escort. Did you know that it's new? If you knew that it's new, did you know the wagon's new too? The engine is new, the suspension improved, a safety self-protection.
There's your Wednesday lineup right here on ABC. It begins with Ellen, the new show Townies, Grace Under Fire with Brett Butler, the Drew Carey Show, and then Primetime Live, Wednesday Primetime right here on ABC. 4th and a yard at the 25 after the timeout. And Kelly throws, and it is Reed making the catch. What a call, because the coverage was tight, and he's able to slip a tackle and picks up the 1st down.
That tackle he slipped with Rod Woodson. You don't often slip a Rod Woodson tackle. Woodson about probably 85-90% what he was before his knee up a year ago in the season opener.
But you're also talking about one of the best receivers who can run after the catch that has played in this league for a long time, and Andre Reed.
Over 10,000 career receiving yards.
And a lot of those babies came after the reception.
Derek Holmes, flag down.
I would say 8,000 of those yards came after the catch.
And this one against Buffalo.
9 consecutive years over 50 receptions, and that's what is produced.
Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty.
And it's amazing for a guy who, really in his career has lived over the middle mainly. I mean, he's over the middle. Just going to say that
12 years.
I mean, one of the guys that absolutely is fearless coming across and has done it for 12 years now.
Well, the Bills have already overcome one 1st and 20 on this drive. Now they get to try to do it again. Not often that you do it. To do it twice on the same series, asking a great deal.
Back at the 27-yard line, Kelly for the end zone, and nobody there but a couple of black shirts. Quinn Early was over in the corner of the end zone. And again, Early coming over as a free agent from New Orleans, and he was running one pattern and Kelly throwing in another direction.
And Lonnie Johnson also, his tight end, pulled up on him. Johnson, I think, was the intended receiver. He just hooked up on him.
Sometimes you exaggerate the distance, but there really was not a Bills receiver within 10 or 15 yards of that ball.
Early was running down the sideline, and Kelly throwing it near the goalpost. On 2nd and 19, Kelly throws, and it's incomplete. Again, big-time pressure that time by the nose tackle, Joel Steed.
Well, you're trying to get the screen off. You got to slow those guys down a little bit to let the screen set. Trying to get the ball to Derek Holmes in the screen, and the offensive linemen have got to take a pretty good check on the man in front of them before they pull into that screen. They just didn't do it. The
rule of thumb, Frank, is you had to stop his momentum. You had to make him come to a stop on a screen and then release. Nobody from Pittsburgh came to a stop that time. It was a uniform wave coming after Kelly.
3rd and 19 from the 27-yard line. This time Kelly with good protection, and the throw, Willie Williams got tangled up with Russell Copeland, and no flag. The crowd held its breath for a moment.
Williams just had good position. He knew Copeland had to come back to the inside. He got himself in a position where Copeland would have to fight through him. Now watch Williams. Now he'll get himself positioned inside of Copeland. Yeah, he's looking back, checking out the ball. Now he looks back. And he slips there. You'll never get a flag doing that. It was just good positioning, and Willie Williams is playing one fine game tonight.
Now a 45-yard attempt by Christie, who made one from 31 in the first quarter. And on 4th and 19, they have to opt for the field goal here after they'd gone for a 4th and 1 earlier. They settle for 3 and trim the lead to 24-6.
Welcome to Freedom in the Air, brought to you by Southwest Airlines, with low fares on every flight, every seat, every day. Week 2 saw receivers leaning and leaping to help their teams, and their highlights lit up scoreboards. But what catch grabbed the most attention? Stay tuned. To stay in the game, the Jaguars showed the gift of grab to get this spectacular touchdown.
Throw to the right side, it is bounced around and caught. Touchdown!
Flag rippling here at Three Rivers Stadium. Breeze picking up, rain coming down. Buffalo has kicked a field goal to make it Pittsburgh 24, Buffalo 6. And Steve Christie's kickoff comes into the arms of Charles Johnson at the 8-yard line. And Johnson with a hole up the left side. Takes it all the way up to the 39. Tackled by Tim Tyndale. Talking about Andre Reed and a great career, here's your prudential fact tonight. As a battery, as a pitcher-catcher combination, Kelly and Reed have combined for 634 completions, most ever by any quarterback-receiver pair in the history of the National Football League. 634 times we've been able to say Kelly to Reed.
Well, Kelly's in his 11th year after the USFL, and Reed is in his 12th year. They've been together 11 years.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Years ago, we mentioned that Marino and Clayton had combined for the most touchdowns of any pair. Young and Rice would be second. Unitas and Berry third, and then Kelly and Reed fourth most touchdowns in history as a combo.
Which again illustrates the kind of workmanlike efforts that Andre Reed gives. He does the grunt receiving. He's the guy that takes hits from linebackers and strong safeties because he does a lot of his work by those hash marks instead of tap dancing down a sideline.
Here's Pegram taking the
pitch out on second down and taking it up to the 45-yard line. Tackled there by Bruce Smith, setting up a 3rd down and 3. Stars and Stripes hovering above Three Rivers Stadium in the rain. The Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron. Sorry, not the Stars and Stripes. Mark Kina, our captain, for a moment was checking with the airport, finding out what he was flying.
Well, at least that's a sign that the ceiling is a little bit higher. Need at least a 1,000-foot ceiling to get the blimp up in the air.
3rd and 3, and that's Cordell Stewart in a shotgun to take the snap, and a little flip to Andre Hastings, who gets banged down at the 49, very close to a 1st down. Tackled by Kurt Scholes.
Again, that will add to the Cordell period for opponents down the road for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Again, something they have to work on. Stewart in the shotgun, running the option, the shovel pass to a wide receiver.
And it's a 1st down.
They are deep into the playbook.
You notice that big hit by Scholes then, Dan?
Yeah. A little easier to hit Hastings than it is to hit Jerome Bettis.
A little redemption there on the part of Scholes.
1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Eric Pegram takes it to the 45-yard line. So Eric with that slashing style, and he plays for a couple of series, and then the battering ram comes in, and Bill Cowher has a nice little combo coming out of that backfield.
Remember those 2 games he had, back in '93, I think it was with Atlanta. One of them against the Rams. I think 180 yards or something like that. Another big game of 190 yards. It just exploded onto the NFL scene.
But whether it's Bettis or Pegram, the constant is Jackson Wolford, Dawson Stye, and Strelzik.
Doesn't hurt to have the big guys.
No, they're getting it done up front.
2nd and 4, 7:20 left in the 3rd. Pittsburgh leading by 18.
Well, look at that.
And just what Dan's talking about.
They're just blowing them off the line now.
What a surge by Pittsburgh's offensive line. The entire Buffalo defense was moving backwards. That's where that term surge comes from, when you see the entire wave of an offensive line moving everybody backwards.
Pittsburgh now coming with 2 tight ends. They bolster the offensive line that's already dominating.
Steelers averaging 5.2 per rush tonight. League average annually around 4.0. So a big night on the ground. And it continues. Pegram wrestled out by Scholes, but not until he picks up a 1st down at the 27.
This is just domination at the moment.
Frank, this game's been played for many, many years, and this part of it has never changed. When you have a lead and you can enforce your will on your opponent by running the ball down their throat when they know it's coming, it is really the expression of domination. Pittsburgh right now is expressing themselves. We're kicking your butt.
And Buffalo knows if they can't stop this, there's no chance in the world of getting back into this game.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Pegram. Hard yard pursuit at the 26, tackled there by Chris Spielman. So it's an amazing thing with the Steelers when they have the lead at the half. In their last 26 regular season games in which they've led at the half, they've won. It's the longest streak since the great Miami teams in the early 70s, including the unbeaten 72 Dolphins squad. And they had the lead tonight by 21 at the half. Right now it's 18.
It's encouraging for the fans home at Buffalo, looking on.
Bettis in the game, 2nd and 8. The fake to him, and then Tom Zach throws. And Jonathan Hayes makes the catch. The tight end goes to a 1st down at the 17. Well, it's a funny league, the way things go so up and down. I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers go to Jacksonville. They lose to a 2nd-year team on opening day. They lose Lloyd. They have a quarterback controversy throughout preseason. They change quarterbacks. Things look so bleak. Come back, beat the Ravens. And tonight, I mean, they look like they're going to the Super Bowl again the way they're playing.
I think it's the expression of a couple things, Al. One is that Bill Cowher is a coach in complete control of his football team. And secondly, there is a reason this team was in the Super Bowl last year. They have a lot of talented players.
Third and a yard. Here's Bettis, and he gets cracked down before he can pick up the first down. That's a big hit and a big stop right there by Ted Washington along with Spielman.
You illustrated some key people that they lost, but they still have a lot of very, very capable talent on this football team. And Bill Cowher is going to be winning football games in the NFL for a long time to come.
A little indecision there as to whether or not on 4th and a long 2, whether or not they would go for the 3 or try to hammer it in. But they bring out the kicking team.
Well, Norm Johnson could use the work.
Yeah, well, Norm Johnson has the ones he's made tonight, including the extra points, he's barely made. This is a 37-yarder.
Probably thrilled they don't have to punt, too. The way they've been punting.
And he blocks. He has that one blocked. And so Kurt Scholes picks it up at the 16 and is out of bounds at the 19-yard line. Phil Hansen may have been the guy who got a hand on it.
Buffalo gets a break.
They need it. 4:11 left in the third. 24-6 Steelers.
These days, you're working harder than ever. You need a truck that does, too.
Or other regional action featuring North Carolina or Washington. Part of an ABC college football doubleheader Saturday.
16th of September, the calendar says it's still summer. Well, sort of. 4:11 to go in the third. Buffalo has taken over after blocking the field goal. Kelly from the 19 begins by handing the ball to Thurman Thomas, and he takes it up to the 27-yard line. And Darren Perry makes the stop there. And the second down at about 3 upcoming.
Because for January, that rain would be white, and we'd be stuck here for a week.
It would be. Second down 3, 24-6. Steelers up by 18 with Reed in motion. Thurman Thomas again. And Chad Brown makes the tackle after he picks up the first down. Thurman up to the 32-yard line.
If by chance Buffalo could just keep these chains moving, put together some type of a drive without making mistakes and making it hard on themselves. Last time 2 holding calls ultimately did them in. If they could just eliminate the mistakes from their offensive game, they might have a chance to at least attempt to crawl back into this thing.
Derek Holmes in, and a little flip to Holmes, who comes out of the backfield, and Derek takes it up to the 38-yard line, and the flag comes in at the end of the play. Derek saying he got my face mask.
He did, too. You saw the head pop back. Rather incriminating when that head goes snapping back like that.
Question 5 or 15.
Face mask. 5 yards only on the defense, number 94. The 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
Mini mask.
Chad Brown, number 94.
To warrant 5 yards, you let it go. That's a good call by the official. He would have kept his hand in there and torqued the head around. Well, then that's deserving of the 15.
First down from the 43-yard line as Derek Holmes cuts it back off the right side to the 49-yard line. 2:45 left in the third. The Bills trying to scramble back. Remember, on opening night, they were down 17-0 to the Giants and won in overtime. They won last week against New England, and then next week they go home to face Dallas. And there is a timeout on the field with Glenn Parker shaken up, the tackle for Buffalo. So an injury timeout with 2:40 left in the third.
The new Ford Taurus has people talking. Road and Track says
to buy a house, but where's she going to get the cash?
Sell your jewelry. All of it. Have you ever looked at me?
The season premiere of Ellen, ABC Wednesday.
Glenn Parker out of the game. Corey Lucci replaces him. Second down and 5. Walked off under his own power did Parker, and Derek Holmes takes it across the 50 as a marker down to the 49-yard line.
2 flags came from 2 separate officials. I don't know if they called the same thing or if we've got... Boy, another holding call against Buffalo.
Holding. Offense number 86. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Tony Klein, the tight end.
Well, the Steelers are difficult to beat at home. all by themselves. When you compound it by consistently taking one step forwards and then two step backwards like the Buffalo Bills are tonight, you're almost making the task impossible.
Steelers 29-8 under Cowher at Three River Stadium. Second down and 15 from the 38-yard line, and Kelly throws, and it is Reed making the catch, but not for much, up to the 44-yard line, tackled by Woodson, setting up a 3rd down and 9. And two unbeatens have at it next Monday night as we go to Hoosier Land, to Indianapolis, where the Colts host the Dolphins. Jimmy Johnson's team 3-0. Lindy Infante's team 3-0 next Monday night.
All the undefeated teams play each other next week.
Yeah, four matchups. 3rd down and 8 from the 45. Here comes everybody, and they pick them up. And then Kelly throws, and the pattern was cut off at the 45-yard line. The throw high. Quinn early, breaking early. 4th down.
I'll tell you, when you pick up a full blitz like that, corner blitz, safety blitz coming from the left side, you ought to be able to make a completion out of it. You get individual coverage and just compounding the errors.
At the 45-yard line, Chris Moore to punt. Andre Hastings back to receive it. High floating kick. Bouncing inside the 25 and down to the 23-yard line with a minute 15 seconds left on a frustrating night for Jim Kelly and the Bills as they trail the Steelers 24-6.
Freshman Hotline, what's the problem?
Man, my party is lame. I think I bought some skunky beer.
A minute and 15 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Pittsburgh Steelers trying to go 2-1. Kevin Henry was shaken up in the last series. He gets some attention on the Pittsburgh bench.
I guess they're looking at his right knee.
Of course, he's in there starting because of Ray Seals out for the season. Steelers getting very thin.
On the 21-yard line, Tom Zach gives the ball to Bettis, who bangs his way through the middle, tackled by Henry Jones, who piggybacks him down at the 34-yard line.
Bettis having fun tonight over the 100-yard marker, getting huge openings, and when he does it, he's making the openings on his own.
Bettis now 100 yards, triple figures last week. 1st and 10 from the 34-yard line. Bettis again. Tackled by Chris Spielman after a pickup of 1. And the Steelers can now let the clock tick down if they so choose to end the 3rd quarter. Steelers off next week. They have a bye week, and then they next play against Houston. The surprising Oilers are 2-1. They'll come here in 2 weeks.
Spielman gives you an idea what it's like to hit Bettis.
He lost his helmet in the process.
A little glassy-eyed there also.
Well, if you don't like Chris Spielman, you don't like football.
End of the 3rd quarter. Pittsburgh 24, Buffalo 6. Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations.
It's a horrifying accident waiting.
Control. They say it will raise to
big screen TV after the game.
4th quarter commencing in Pittsburgh. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan. Steelers up by 18, and on 2nd and 9, it's Jerome Bettis already in triple figures tonight on a 1st down up to the 48-yard line.
Yeah. Happy camper. He said, I feel like I'm running downhill. Wade Phillips gave the look of a man who's looking uphill. When the game balls are handed out, though, I don't want to be prejudiced because I'm a former, but I'd start with those 5 guys up front. They have dominated this ball game. Pittsburgh's offensive line.
1st and 10 at the 47-yard.
Look at that average, guys. 8.1 yards a carry.
Yeah, a lot of these yards are made after contact. Let's surge.
Well, here's a guy who had 100 or more rushing yards in 11 of his first 21 games out of Notre Dame as a Ram.
and then he went south, and that's why he was expendable, and that's why they traded him. And now he's been rejuvenated, and he had gone 27 games without reaching 100 yards until last week, and now he's got him back-to-back.
I remember when the three of us and Kenny Wolf, our producer, Craig Janoff, our director, we did the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame against Florida, and Jerome Bettis was at Notre Dame and dominated that game with his running ability.
2nd down and 5 from the 48-yard line. Bettis blocking to the outside, tries to turn the corner, and this time Henry Jones equal to the task at the 47-yard line. We saw Glenn Parker go out before calf injury. There he is, and his return is not likely.
Reuben Brown will be coming back, the second-year starting left guard for the Bills. We talked to him this evening. He says he will be able to return next week.
Bettis comes out here. There's Keevan Henry trying to walk off that stiff right leg. Right now with the big lead, though, I think Pittsburgh can afford to rest some of their banged-up people.
3rd down 4. Tomczak, a deep drop, and then throws the ball over to the Buffalo bench.
A screenplay that was read by 3 or 4 of the Buffalo defensive linemen. Chan Gailey's in the middle. He's got his hand up to his cheek with the baseball hat on.
That's Dick
Hoke there to the right.
You're right. Great running back for the Steelers for the 10 or 11 years.
And Tim Lewis on the left, who came into play last week, Al, when we were at Lambeau. And we talked about the last time that Monday Night Football was in Green Bay. It was '86, the game where he got hurt.
Yeah, so a budding career nipped because he had a very narrow spinal column, suffered an injury that night, and the doctor told him, I don't want you to play again, and he didn't. Josh Miller, who has not had a particularly good night, has this one fair caught by Copeland at the 17-yard line. 12:36 to go in the 4th. Pittsburgh up by 18.
Pennzoil Performax 100, the first 100% synthetic motor oil at a breakthrough price, presents Famous First. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers went winless in their initial 26 games.
Well, Stewart, what a play from tonight's game. We're working on Monday Night Quarterback right now. Get ready to call in your questions and comments after tonight's game.
In a showroom.
So, what is it?
I'm not supposed to tell you. We never thought, though, that people would be able to figure out what car it was just by meeting the people who test drove it. Well, so much for keeping a secret.
Jimmy Johnson has the Dolphins back in the swim of things. They splash into Indy to battle the Colts next week on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Pittsburgh Steelers on top by a count of 24-6 as the Buffalo Bills begin this drive at the 17-yard line, 1st and 10. Kelly, a gloomy night for Marv Levy continues. One thing we should mention, too, is the last time we saw Marv on a Monday Night Football game, he was reporting to us from bedside. He had prostate cancer last year. It was discovered. Cancer removed. Missed 3 weeks. Came back and feels great. He's as sharp as ever. Frustrated, but as sharp as ever at the age of 71 and still going strong.
And he still gets into a game, too.
Yep.
Chasing Papa Bear, isn't he?
Yeah, in another year and a half. Reed up to the 20-yard line. George Halas coached until he was 72 years, 10 months old. So Marv would have to go into the 1998 season, and it is a goal of his. Marv Levy not even remotely thinking about retiring.
Something pretty profound not too long ago. He said, if you're starting to think about retiring, you've already retired.
Well, his offense retired tonight. Early.
3rd down and 6. And late as well as Kirkland makes the interception at the 26-yard line.
His second of the night.
And number 3rd of the season.
And number 4 against the Bills, although that's hardly Jim Kelly's fault. Hit his receiver in the hands.
And so the domination in this series continues. Pittsburgh just eats up the Bills in Pittsburgh.
My town doesn't even have a stoplight, much less a car dealership.
First down at the 25-yard line for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's Eric Pegram. Well, the roof hasn't caved in on the Buffalo Bills, but the wall caved in. Look at this. A cement block wall actually collapsed here. And as far as we know, nobody was hurt. And
you can
it's being cordoned off right now.
You can see on the left there to the right of that sign that it's about a 4-foot-high wall. And luckily, nobody went with it. Maybe Jerome Bettis hit it.
Yeah. Or it's built of adobe. Second down and 9 from the 24-yard line.
Thankfully, no one was hurt.
And that's, well, it should have been an interception, and that's Buffalo's night in microcosm. Mark Maddox. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who reminds you fresh beer tastes better. Boston Market, carving out a better sandwich. All the team members at Saturn, a different kind of company, a different kind of car. And Nicotrol, 6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
Well, that's the second interception of the night dropped by the Bills. Remember, very early in this ball game, didn't Kurt Schulz have his hands on one that would have been an easy touchdown? Looking back on it, boy, could Buffalo ever have used that early score.
5 wide for Pittsburgh now.
They didn't get it off yet. I don't think he got the timeout in time either. I think that'll go 5 yards against Pittsburgh.
Well, it's going to be a 3rd and 9. If he didn't get the timeout, it'll be a 5-yard penalty and not a charge timeout.
The delay of penalty was called before the timeout. Be a 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down against the offense.
Well, now, do they get charged for the timeout?
No, because the play would have been whistled dead with a penalty.
But you still took that's giving him a break. I mean, he signaled the timeout. That's extending the olive branch to the offense, which
they have done.
Referees normally do that.
3rd down and 13. And Cordell Stewart over the middle. Bill Cowher said he can be a world-class receiver if he so chose. He wants to be a quarterback, but this kid is incredibly valuable in the role he plays right now.
Well, that's what we've seen this year and last year. There's no question Bill Cowher is right. If he wanted to concentrate on being a wide receiver, he could be a super wide receiver. He wants to be a quarterback. We asked Bill Cowher, can he be a quarterback in the National Football League? He said, without even hesitating, absolutely he can. Can he be a great one? Well, that will be up to Cordell Stewart. But that's what he wants to be.
1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Bettis for 4 to the 10.
Sometimes people with multiple talents are the victim of their own talents.
The Goodyear blimp, Spirit of Akron. Looking down. Frank, well taken. Especially, you know, I think of baseball. When a guy can do too much, he very often winds up as a utility man because he's so valuable on so many fronts.
And you really do not get the opportunity in a game like this where you have to really focus on one thing.
2nd down and 6 from the 10-yard line. Bettis goes nowhere.
Although, in response to that, he was allowed to compete for the quarterback position all the way through training camp, along with Miller and Tomczak. And Bill Cowher made the determination during that process that Cordell was not ready to assume the leadership of a football team at the quarterback position. Now, that's certainly he believes that will happen maybe next year, but not this year.
And of course, there's a lot of work for Cordell Stewart. He spends his time in the meetings with the quarterbacks. So he really gets very little time to work on what we're seeing right now as the receiver.
3rd and 7 from the 11. And they give it to Bettis. And he gets gang tackled at the 6-yard line, setting up a 4th down and 2.
And Bill Cowher's right in sending out Norm Johnson. Last field goal was blocked. This is a guy who missed an extra point earlier in the game. This is what you do in practice. Let the guy get some work.
8:40 and the clock ticking remaining. This will be a 24-yard attempt.
attempt a 24-yard field goal.
Josh Miller to hold it. And that's blocked again. This could be a touchdown. And Marlon Kerner trying to pick the ball up and couldn't. And Bill Cowher has watched a guy who had a terrific year last year have 2 kicks blocked tonight.
Well, that was blocked by Bruce Smith, who just came right up the middle.
By the receiving team, they did not gain possession, so it's first down.
Right, had they gained possession and then lost it, it would have been a different story.
Right. That was just a breakdown in blocking. Bruce Smith was 2 to 3 yards into the Pittsburgh field goal formation when he blocked that ball.
It might be over for some of the Bills, but it's not over for Bruce Smith. Watch 78.
Right up the middle.
Team, now the Dolphins want to wake them from their storybook dream.
You've got to have better blocking than this on your special teams. Bruce Smith with the swim move gets right through there. That's not Norm Johnson's fault. Bad blocking.
And Jim Kelly gets buried at the 29-yard line. You have a dual sack here. Emmons and Johnson, 2 guys we haven't called tonight. Bill Johnson and Carlos Emmons. The Steelers have guys coming from everywhere.
Speaking of bad blocking, there's another example. That time, though, by Buffalo.
Emmons and Johnson giving some of the regulars a break with Kevin Henry on the sidelines with an injury.
2nd and 19. Movement before the snap.
You know, this was a defensive scheme that really goes back to Dom Capers, who was a defensive coordinator here in Pittsburgh. He's now, of course, the Carolina Panthers head coach. And
prior to the snap, false start, 67 offense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
The blitzing scheme with people coming from all different directions, including the defensive backs into the blitz packages. And, of course, Dick LeBeau, who was the defensive backfield coach here for all those years, now assumes the mantle of defensive coordinator. And, you know, even though guys like Lloyd are gone and Kevin Green are gone, the system remains intact. And I think you can see that it's a system that still works.
Thomas. And he breaks one and then gets popped at the end by Williams. Jim Kelly tonight, 4 interceptions. And we mentioned at the top of the show, he came into tonight's game having thrown 2 touchdown passes and 4 interceptions. So now it's 2 and 8.
He had 4 interceptions in the previous 2 games.
3rd down and 11 from the 36-yard line. What a night. Chad Brown. You know, guys, you can take the 3 Monday night games that we've done here in the last 4 years between these 2 teams, and you couldn't tell one from the other. They've all been the same.
Routes. Total and complete routes.
And just total brutality against quarterback Jim Kelly. He went out of, what, I think all 3 of them, didn't he, at one point?
Well, let's put it this way. This moves Pittsburgh at home on Monday night under Bill Cowher to 6-0. And right now the cumulative score is 140 to 33.
Moore floats one. And that bangs out of bounds at the 28-yard line with 6:29 left. Bills heading home to face Dallas. Steelers heading for a celebration and an off week.
With Molly Ringwald, ABC premiere Wednesday.
Bill Cowher is going to send a limousine the next time we come to town. There's no question about that.
I'm telling you, if this game next year would involve the Buffalo Bills, they may not board the airplane.
Kelly's going to take that limousine out of town.
Yes. Quickly. From the 29-yard line, the Pittsburgh Steelers begin this drive, and they'll take time off the clock with Pegram.
We have the calculators working right now trying to compute Jim Kelly's quarterback rating. I'm assuming that this is the worst start in his entire career. After 3 games, he's got 2 touchdown passes and now 8 interceptions.
And he's been sacked 11 times.
Yeah, this is just a really horrible start for Kelly and the offensive team.
Alex Van Pelt is loosening up.
Sacked 11 times might explain some of the other.
Oh, no question. It's a universal breakdown of the Buffalo offensive machine.
Pegram seeking the first down, and he has it to the 46-yard line.
Look at these guys. Yeah. Look at these guys blocking. Did you see Will Wolford going all the way down the field with that thing?
All night long they've been doing it.
Will Wolford.
Ooh, Pegram's down.
Shaking up.
Oh, grabbing that left knee.
Oh, baby.
So Bill Cowher
looked like he
concerned.
Twisted it. So he is in obvious pain.
Pettis getting a first-hand look.
Here's the conclusion. That's Pegram. At the very end there, it looked like it flexed. Didn't appear to. He had a lot of weight on his back. He had a couple tacklers applying a lot of extra weight. Hard to. The knee is so fragile, and sometimes you look at it and you see a replay and there's really nothing obvious that jumps out at you, but you know, something can flex and torque in there. And
there's Maddox coming in last, number 55.
Yeah, might have landed with a knee right on it. It's just a very complex joint with a lot of different components inside of it that can break.
Steelers have lost so many with knee injuries. Ernie Mills in the Super Bowl game. And we've already talked. Greg Lloyd, the loss there, and looks like Pegram at least can come off walking. That's encouraging.
Maybe a little hot tub time will get that straightened out.
And again, the Steelers have the benefit of the off week, so they will not play another game for 13 days as they get set to face the Oilers a week from Sunday here in Pittsburgh. Bills going home to face the Dallas Cowboys at Rich Stadium. There's Yancey Thigpen, another of the injured Steelers, trying to get back in the next couple of weeks at wide receiver. Bettis taking more time off the clock. You know, guys, there's a trend developing in the NFL through 3 years as Jerome continues his little trend tonight. Scoring is down this year. Last year, 42.9 points per game was the average in the league, and in only 12 of the 42 games thus far, as you look at Eric Pegram being worked on, in only 12 of the 42, and you can see, so we all understand the difference here, 4.6 points per game less, and we don't want to overstate it, but there it is for you.
Think about that. I wonder if maybe the offense is
I'll think about that.
Difficult thing, much more difficult than defense to put together, and so many players have moved from different teams into different systems. You just kind of wonder maybe that isn't impacting a little bit upon that. It might change down the line. As Bill Cowher talked about it last night, he said as more new players start to fit in, the systems start to work again, and maybe probably the points probably will go up.
Well, this game, of course, with only 30 points being scored, Pittsburgh doing their part to hold up the average. A failure by Buffalo, though, to do their part. I think it's fascinating that now we have 8 undefeated teams in the NFL, and they'll be participating in 4 games next week. They are all playing each other,
including the one on Monday night, Indy and Miami on 3rd and 1. Cordell Stewart.
I wasn't just setting up a promo.
No, the other games: Denver at Kansas City, Green Bay at Minnesota, San Francisco at Carolina. There it is. And the other thing, you know, the amazing thing on the flip side, they're
all divisional games.
Well, you have winless teams. You have 3 games next week with winless teams facing each other.
But every one of the undefeated teams is playing the other team in their division that's undefeated.
Yep.
You know, Kansas City and Denver are playing, Minnesota and Green Bay are playing, Indianapolis and Miami are playing, Carolina and San Francisco. It's really a real quirk in the schedule.
Yeah. As Tom Zach gives the ball.
I don't mean Jamie.
and then you have the other side of the coin next week. Giants and Jets, Arizona at New Orleans, where we understand Kent Graham's going to supplant Boomer Esiason as the Cardinals starter, and Seattle at Tampa Bay. None of those teams with a solitary win.
Well, the good news is at least somebody will come out of there with a 1 in the plus column.
Yep. The better news is none of those games is on Monday night next week. We'll take what we have. Miami at Indianapolis. 2nd and 7 at the 40. And this is John Whitman again, the rookie out of Penn State.
On the road, we'll have this Steeler team against Miami.
Late in the year.
And
we'll see him against Kansas City in 3 weeks.
Well, that's some story, the way Jimmy Johnson has the Dolphins out of the gate like that at 3-0. And running the football, they've gone over 100 yards running the football in each of their 3 wins so far.
That is really a story.
Yes, it is. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
And Irving spikes, and the Dolphins going to the Dome next week in Indianapolis. 2-minute warning. The Steelers that much time away from their 2nd win in 3 games.
Only babies get what they want all the time.
Leave a little bit of yourself on that field.
Men gotta do it the hard way.
Focus. Finish. Let's go. Let's go. Now wear them down. Watch the blue line.
All right, let's go regular.
He's out of the ball game.
Regular. 51. Bingo pick.
So you got your ear ring in?
No more rocket balls, please. Fumble. You can't control what just took place.
Come on.
2 minutes to go in Pittsburgh. Happy crowd filing out, heading home. The Steelers have, after that disaster in Jacksonville, turned it around in a large hurry. And so this will be an 11th consecutive regular season game in this Pittsburgh-Buffalo series that will have been won by the home team. We say regular season because in the middle of that in 1992, Buffalo did come in here and win a playoff game against the Steelers, which must seem like forever ago to Marv Levy. Left knee sprain is the report on Eric Pegram. And again, we mentioned that they do have the off week, so he has the extra time to get ready for the Houston Oilers.
Oh, how they love their Steelers here. And of course, why wouldn't they love pro football in this town? The championships that they were treated to by the great teams of Chuck Noll back in the 70s.
So many great Monday night games here.
Oh, man.
He moved in here in the year it was built.
And of course, there's a guy who was a part of it.
Well, he gave us many thrills, Vince Vaughn.
Under the dugout, I noticed.
From the 39-yard line, the rookie out of Penn State, John Whitman, the fullback, tackled by Thomas Smith. Well, that's Kelly's rating for tonight, and even if you don't understand much about ratings, we can tell you that that's horrible. 18.4.
That leaves out the sacks, too. He took quite a pounding tonight with a couple of sacks, and he was hit so many times after he delivered the ball, and Eric Pegram is at least able to leave the field walking and not even limping. Of course, Jim grew up in nearby East Brady, very near Pittsburgh. He had a lot of his hometown fans he stayed very close to throughout his career. They were here tonight, and I'm sure they suffered right along with him.
Guys, Kenny Wolf telling me that makes 226 yards rushing for the Steelers tonight against Buffalo. 226 yards.
For the first down, they're just going to take this clock down all the way up.
Well, now it's down to 225.
a couple of kneel downs will shave off a couple of yards.
Those of you that follow the game on a regular basis know what a dominating number that is. It's impossible to lose a football game when you rush for 225 yards. I'm sure it's happened, but that is just real domination by that group right there.
And Bettis accounting for a large percentage of those yards. 133 to To be precise, Pegram with 84.
I think they're down to 224.
Yeah. Well, Bill Cowher in his 5th year at the age of 39, still the 3rd youngest coach in the National Football League.
3rd youngest coach in his division, isn't he?
Yep, behind Dave Shula and Jeff Fisher. And he's becoming one of the masters, and there is a master, but poor Marv has had better nights, and so has Bruce Smith, as the Bills come in and get shellacked again.
Marv congratulating Bill and saying something to the effect of, I'll see you in Buffalo.
I'll see you guys in Indianapolis.
All right. Well, do you know how many points were scored in the red zone tonight inside the 20s? You will want to know beginning September 30th, when you can win trips to the Super Bowl for the rest of your life as one of the grand prizes. To play, buy Coca-Cola and watch Monday Night Football. Coke in the red zone. So the final score tonight at Three Rivers Stadium, the Pittsburgh Steelers 24 and the Buffalo Bills 6. Next week, the Dolphins and the Colts, 2 undefeated teams from Indianapolis. Until then, Al Michaels for Frank Gifford, Dan Deerdorf, and Lynn Swan saying good night from Pittsburgh.
Saturday, there's a doubleheader on ABC's college football. At noon Eastern, top 10 teams meet when Notre Dame tackles Texas. Then at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, there's regional action featuring Michigan or North Carolina. And at 4 Pacific, Oregon battles Washington State. Later, stay tuned for your late local news and ABC News Nightliner for most of these ABC stations.